April 26, 2019. The air hung thick with despair. A universe teetered on the brink, facing an insurmountable foe. Then, a light. Not of a star, but of courage, forged in iron. Tony Stark, once the self-proclaimed genius as billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, stood before his destiny. With a defiant whisper, "I am Iron Man," he activated the Infinity Gauntlet. A flash, a surge of power, and then, silence. The cost was immense, a final, irreversible sacrifice that saved trillions, but extinguished one of the MCU's brightest stars. This was not just the end of a character, it was the genesis of an enduring question. Before the snap, there was the cave. In 2008, a cynical weapons manufacturer, kidnapped and forced to confront his own creations, emerged a changed man. Tony Stark built his first suit not for profit, but for survival, then for justice. He openly declared himself Iron Man, a revolutionary act that shattered superhero anonymity and laid the groundwork for the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. His journey, marked by invention, arrogance, growth, and eventually profound selflessness, became the backbone of the saga. He was the anchor, the reluctant leader, the scientific mind always pushing boundaries. For over a decade, Tony Stark, portrayed unforgettably by Robert Downey Jr., was the face of the MCU. From leading the Avengers to battling global threats and confronting his own demons, his character arc defined a generation of cinematic storytelling. His innovations, his wit, his flaws, and ultimately, his unwavering courage, resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. He wasn't just a superhero, he was a human being grappling with immense power and responsibility, making his sacrifice all the more poignant and impactful for millions of viewers who had watched him evolve. The immediate aftermath of Endgame seemed to cement Tony Stark's fate. His death was presented as definitive, a permanent closure to his story arc, designed to carry immense emotional weight and signify a true turning point for the MCU. The subsequent films and series, from Spider-Man, Far From Home to Secret Invasion, have consistently reinforced this reality, showing a world grieving his loss and adapting to a post-Iron Man era. For many, bringing him back directly would diminish the very sacrifice that defined his heroic legacy and the stakes established in Endgame. No character felt Tony's absence more acutely than Peter Parker. Mentored and equipped by Stark, Peter inherited not only advanced technology but also the immense pressure of living up to his predecessor's legacy. Throughout the home trilogy, Peter grappled with identity, responsibility, and the shadow of Iron Man. He struggled to find his own path, constantly reminded of the man who believed in him. This deep emotional connection emphasizes the void Tony left, making Peter's journey of self-discovery a poignant reflection of Stark's enduring influence, even in death. The mantle of Iron Man may be vacant, but the spirit of invention and heroism inspired by Tony Stark lives on through Riri Williams, better known as Ironheart. A brilliant young MIT student, Riri constructs her own advanced suit of armor, directly influenced by Stark's legacy. Her introduction in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and her upcoming solo series, positions her as a key figure in the next generation of MCU heroes. She represents a continuation of the technological ingenuity and personal drive that define Iron Man, albeit with her own unique motivations and challenges, carrying his torch into the future. While Iron Man's direct return seems unlikely, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has dramatically expanded its narrative possibilities through the introduction of the Multiverse. Concepts established in Loki, What If, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness confirm the existence of infinite alternate realities, each with its own variations of familiar characters. This groundbreaking development presents a theoretical pathway for a version of Tony Stark to appear, not as the original hero, but as a variant from another timeline. However, this raises complex questions about audience connection and narrative purpose. The appeal of seeing Robert Downey Jr. return as Iron Man is undeniable for many fans. The multiverse offers a convenient way to achieve this, by introducing a variant Tony Stark who might have survived or never become Iron Man, or even a villainous version. However, a variant, by definition, is not our Tony Stark. Bringing back a different version risks diluting the emotional impact of the original sacrifice and could feel like a narrative cheat. The audience's connection is built on the specific journey of the prime MCU Tony Stark, making any variant a fundamentally different character. Another intriguing possibility lies in Tony Stark's mastery of artificial intelligence. From Jarvis to Friday, and even the controversial EDITH glasses left to Peter Parker, Stark consistently pushed the boundaries of AI. Could a fragment of his consciousness, a sophisticated AI clone, or a digitized mind be resurrected? This concept, explored in various science fiction narratives, could allow a form of Tony Stark to return as an AI companion or guardian. However, this raises philosophical questions about identity and whether an AI truly constitutes the person it imitates, or merely a sophisticated copy. The potential for a digital Tony Stark, whether as an updated Jarvis or a fully sentient AI, offers a way to bring his genius and wit back without physically resurrecting him. This would honor his technological prowess and provide a narrative bridge for new heroes. However, the core of Tony's appeal was his human struggle, his vulnerability, and his capacity for growth. An AI, even one programmed with his personality, would likely lack the evolving soul that made him relatable. The risk is an emotionally detached simulacrum that fails to capture the true essence of Iron Man. Beyond variance in AI, the most direct, yet perhaps most contentious, path for Iron Man's future is a straightforward recasting. While Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal is iconic, recasting characters is a common practice in long-running franchises and comic book adaptations. James Bond, Batman, and Superman have all seen multiple actors take on the role. For the MCU, however, Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is uniquely tied to the genesis and success of the entire universe. A new actor would face an almost insurmountable challenge of living up to the established performance, risking fan alienation. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has, in fact, laid some groundwork for recasting. Bruce Banner was famously recast from Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo early in the saga, and Rhodey, War Machine, also saw a change from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. However, these changes occurred before characters were as deeply entrenched as Tony Stark. The MCU's current era prioritizes narrative continuity and the emotional journey of its characters. A full recasting of Tony Stark for the prime MCU would necessitate a profound narrative reason, and even then, its acceptance by the global audience is far from guaranteed. The decision to potentially bring back Iron Man, in any form, carries the immense weight of fan expectations. Viewers have a deep emotional investment in Tony Stark's story, and any perceived misstep could significantly impact the franchise's goodwill. Marvel Studios has historically been mindful of fan sentiment, balancing innovative storytelling with honoring established canon. The creative team understands that Iron Man is more than just a character, he's a symbol of the entire cinematic universe. Therefore, any return would be approached with extreme caution, if at all, to preserve the integrity of his farewell. While specific statements evolve with time, the general stance from Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has consistently been to honor character endings. Feige has often spoken about the importance of consequences and the narrative finality in the MCU, especially for foundational characters like Tony Stark. Undermining such a pivotal sacrifice would set a dangerous precedent, cheapening future heroic acts. This perspective suggests that a direct, prime-timeline resurrection of Tony Stark is highly improbable, as it would contradict the very storytelling principles that built the MCU's emotional depth and stakes. Ultimately, the most profound future for Iron Man in the MCU might not involve a physical return, but a continued evolution of his legacy. This means heroes like Ironheart, Peter Parker, and others inspired by his genius and selflessness, carrying forward his ideals. It's in the technological advancements seen across the universe, the continued presence of his AI creations, and the enduring impact of his sacrifice on all who knew him. His story teaches that true heroism isn't just about powers or suits, but about growth, responsibility, and the ultimate willingness to put others before oneself. His influence is everywhere. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is constantly expanding, evolving, and redefining its boundaries. While the allure of seeing Iron Man in action again is powerful, the true strength of his character arc lies in its completion. His death was the defining moment, sealing his place as the ultimate hero. Perhaps his future is best served as a guiding star, an echo in the algorithms, or a legend inspiring the next generation. For Tony Stark, the man, his story is finished. For Iron Man, the idea, his influence will resonate as long as heroes are needed, ensuring that a part of him will always be Iron Man.